Kermit in Kansas City. See more better with freeprescriptionlens.com. And today I'm going to cut your prescription lenses with anti-glare for your Versace. This is the 3218 color GB1, which is the classic black and gold in the 53 eye size. Now this frame also comes in a 55 as well as a few other colors. Of course, it comes out of the gift box. You've got the international warranty, your COA, your card of authenticity, your serial number, all of that. Junk mail in several languages should you need it, although I think it's mostly Italiano. But let's get to the star of the show. The main attraction inside of this Italian leather hardshell clamshell case is your Versace cleaning cloth. And the star of the show, the main attraction, the Versace 3218. Of course, it comes with a little plastic sleeve on the left temple to protect the temples from rubbing together while it's being shipped from Italy. And of course, I will put that on there when I ship to you. This has, what does this have? It has the medallion on both sides, the Medusa, and then the Greco pattern going down the length of the temple. The GB1 is the classic shiny black and gold. So let's begin. I'm going to pop out your original demo lenses, and of course you will be receiving these, one of which says Versace. You're going to get all the manufacturer's original packaging. And I'm going to put it into the tracing element of my blocker, but I'm going to program the shape. We're at a milestone. We're at number 700. You are secret agent 700. I know you know of 007. You're 700. How's that? So I'm going to program this shape into my computer, so years from now, should you ever need new lenses for this frame, I can send the lenses right to your home. You will not need to ship the frame back to me. So let me go ahead and hit start. A little stylus is going to pop up and go around and trace the inside bevel of the right side of the frame before doing exactly the same thing on the left. Here at freeprescriptionlenses.com, where everyone loves a bargain and no one is disappointed in quality. You buy a genuine, authentic Versace frame and you'll receive one free pair of clear single vision prescription lenses or non-prescription fashion lenses. My receipt has my federal ID tax number, so if you have vision insurance or flex dollars, health savings account flex dollars, you will get reimbursed for this purchase, whether they are prescription or not. That is the shape that I'll be cutting for you today. Let's move it on to the next screen. Your pupillary distance is 34.5, so the computer starts at 32.5, so I'm going to tap this plus button at the bottom of the screen until it goes up in half millimeter increments, the 34.5. I do want to raise the optical center height up. Let's do 22 on there. So, let's come down here to the lensometer. Your right eye reads minus 450 minus a quarter at 0.42. Minus 450 minus a quarter at 0.42. Let's put it on there. Yeah, that is correct. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve, put it in, rotate, got to put it on the power, minus 450. Rotate the lens until the power comes in clearly. Your spherical component, the minus 450. I will check your one step of astigmatism, which is 90 degrees away. And that is good. I'm going to put 3 dots on your lenses. Hey, the third dot actually showed up pretty well today, and this is the right lens. Let's do the same thing for the unright lens. Minus 450 minus 1 at 13, minus 450 minus 1 at 13. I know 13's on here somewhere. There we go. Still is on minus 450. Take the lens out of the protective sleeve. Rotate until the spherical component comes in clearly. Come on. I gotta lock this down so it doesn't move. This tilts, it pans, it rotates, it dices, it slices, it juliennes. I'd like to remind everyone that your lenses are gluten-free, low carb, and this is not the right lens, so we're gonna put an L on here, which is Latin for not right. Just like me, I ain't right either. Now, if any of you missed that, come on, repeat with me, y'all. You know what's coming. Let me recap. Oh, you moan at that joke, but you'll be telling. I've had people email me and tell me they use that joke all the time. I should get a commission for that. So, this is a block. I need to attach this to your lens while it is cutting. Or as I like to call them, Jenny from the block. So I need 2 double-sided adhesive stickers, of which I've got 2 right here. Let's go ahead and stick the first one on there. Do the same thing for the second one. Now on the back is a silver button that is a magnet. It's going to do its job twice today. The first time it's going to attach itself to another magnet there in the arm. And the reason why I put those 3 dots on there, it tells me that it's oriented and they're just right. So I'm going to get everything lined up. And one thing I want to do is write down the optical center height that I'm cutting at, 22. That is good. Have that for my record for future purposes. So the blue cross is the geometric center of your frame. Your eye is just above that. So that's why I have raised it up. Just check the size of the lens. We're looking good there. I'm going to hit that button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the right lens. Let's do the same thing now for the unright lens. Pull the paperweight and make the black side sticky. Line up the magnet there. Find the lens that ain't right. Now your pupillary distance for your left lens is 33.5. It has mirrored the right and it's on 34.5. So now I'm going to tap the minus button twice because it goes down to 0.5 millimeter increments to 33.5. Same optical center height. Get everything lined up there just perfectly. Hit the button. The arm's going to come down and place the block onto the left lens. Now this is the edger. This is what does all the work while I run my mouth. It costs $40,000. It weighs 200 pounds. I recommend everyone go out, buy their own, put it on your own kitchen counter. Then you can cut your own Versace lenses at home, and you won't need this guy with the 2 thumbs and the bad jokes to cut them for you. The actual cutting wheel, where's my flashlight? There it is. It's hiding back there. The cutting wheel acts as this diamond crusted wheel acts as a heavy grit sandpaper to grind away your lens material. This wheel in the center, that channel, that little valley, that's what puts the V-shaped bevel onto the lens, so it stays inside the bevel of the frame. Let's go ahead and wake up the computer. That is the shape that I'll be cutting. These are polycarbonate lenses. If they were plastic, high-index plastic, or Trivex, I would select that. I'm not going to polish the edge of your lens because it's not going to be seen in this frame anyway. I'm not going to put a safety bevel on the front convex surface of the lens. I'm only going to put a safety bevel on the rear concave surface of the lens. And just with your prescription, I'm going to go in advance, go down 1/10 of a millimeter in size so that it fits in there perfectly first time around. I may have to do a little more. We will see. Now the magnet's going to do its job a second time today. It's going to attach itself to another magnet there in the chuck. Or as by now you know, I like to call it the Charles because I don't know this machine well enough to call it Chuck. So, made the green arrow, which is starred in every language. The door closes, the clamp shuts. And then the lens is going to be traced by 2 white styluses, making sure that it's large enough to fit into the frame, which I checked before, and it is. You can see as it's going around tracing the shape of the right side of the frame, the right lens. And of course, the old carpenter saying measure twice, cut once is measuring the thickness of the lens at every point to know exactly and precisely where to place the bevel so you have the best cosmetic look possible. I could move the bevel forwards or backwards depending on the look, but I'm going to let the computer do that. Since it's $40,000, I'm going to let it earn its keep. I know when I said forward, I moved the lens backwards, but if I move the bevel forward on the lens, it would force the lens to sit further back in the frame. So that's why I did that. Now if you see light flickering in the background, that is water there to catch the optical sawdust. Polycarbonate lenses cut dry where plastic, high-index plastic, and Trivex cut wet. Now water will spray onto the lens for the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle to wash away any optical debris that you see beginning to form on the edge of the lenses now. Now when I say wet, plastic, high-index plastic, and Trivex cut wet, meaning that water sprays onto the lens for the duration of the cutting cycle. You can see some of the optical sawdust there that will get washed away should any of it still be on the edge of the lens by the time the water kicks in. So your lenses are made out of polycarbonate. Don't freak out, that's not the thickness of your lens, but polycarbonate is 40% thinner and lighter than regular plastic. It is virtually unbreakable. These are high-impact ballistics grade lenses, the same materials that our soldiers wear overseas in combat zones to protect their eyes from shrapnel and debris that could be flying around, as well as the same material that OSHA puts in safety glasses to protect your eyes on factory floors and things like that. Now in terms of protection, we're not stopping there. It also has 100% UVA and UVB protection built into the lens. We know what the sun's harmful ultraviolet rays can do to your skin there in Kansas City, where your eyes are 8 times more sensitive than your skin, so you have permanent sunscreen for your eyes. Unlike the lotions, creams, and sprays that need to be reapplied every couple hours when you're in direct exposure to the sun there in Kansas City, this is permanent and never needs to be reapplied. Now the difference in that is your lenses are thin like a bowl. They're thin in the center and thicker at the edges, so the further you go from the center of the lens, the thicker it gets. That's why your lens is getting thinner and thinner as it's cutting off that edge. Now you also upgraded to the anti-glare coating. Anti-glare is 3 features in one. The first feature is it reduces glare when driving at night, particularly driving at night in the rain, but from street lights, stoplights, computer screens, overhead fluorescent lights and such. The second thing is, goes by the initials ARC, which stands for anti-reflective coating. So it reduces reflection, so when someone's looking at you, they're not looking at their reflection in your eyes. It makes for much better eye contact. Plus, if someone takes a picture with a flash, or if you take a selfie, you won't see the reflection of the camera in the lens. Now, the other nice thing about your lenses, they are aspheric. Aspheric simply means not spherical. A spherical lens, which this is, where's it on there? Spherical, is completely round in every direction. So not only are your lenses thinner and lighter than this one, but it has a flatter front curvature to fit in today's flatter curvature frames, giving you a much better cosmetic look. Now, the third feature that I like with the anti-glare coating is the machine that applies it costs well over $1 million. It takes over 24 hours to vaporize 8 different coatings onto your lens inside of a vacuum. So because of the time and the expense, they put the industry's hardest scratch coating on your lens to protect your time and investment. Now, if you notice, your lens is completely flat around the edges, just like a nickel. If I were to take it out now, it would stand on the counter on its own. In just a moment, it's going to drop down onto the bevel wheel to get the V-shaped bevel, the knife-like edge. If you notice, it's tracing it again, just its own check and balance system. Double checking where to place the bevel after it has been cut. Redundancy built into the machine. It's from the Department of the Redundancy Department. So you're getting the V-shaped bevel. So it stays inside the bevel of the frame, almost like a knife-like edge, if you can imagine, almost like this pen or stylus. Your lens will be so sharp like a knife that it might be able to cut through a piece of wet tissue, providing that you soak that tissue in a bucket of water overnight and then pop your lens out and press down with all your might. You might be able to cut through that wet tissue if you're strong enough. So water has begun spraying onto the lens, which tells me it's in the last 20 seconds of the cutting cycle. It's doing so to wash away the optical debris, the schwarf as it is technically called. When I first heard that term used back in college, I raised my hand and called BS. I said, there's no word of schwarf. And then my professor made me open the book up and read out loud, proving that I had not done the reading that I was supposed to do. Yes, I know you guys put me on a pedestal, but I am only human. I was working 40 hours a week, if not more, at an optical shop while I was going to school. Going to school full-time and working full-time is 2 full-time jobs. I was not at the top of my class, but I passed the board exam before anyone else in my class. You like that? I opened the door with my mind. I can do other things with my mind. I can melt ice with my mind. I just have to stare at it for a couple hours, but I can do it. Now, there were 8 sections of the board exam. I had classmates that were straight A students all the way through school, and they failed. The hardest test was theory, that is the physics of light, because as you move your lens forward or backwards on your face, here, let's go ahead and keep working, I'll explain that later. I'm going to tuck the lens in. So your lens went from that edge thickness to this edge thickness. Not bad, huh? Let me just make sure all the schwarf has been removed. Tuck it into the outside corner and press down. Oh yeah, it snaps in. That's why I took it down 1/10 of a millimeter. We're going to flip that over to L. We're going to do a little bit more there. Let's take this, put it, have the magnet line up with the magnet there in the Chuck, the Charles, the Chucky baby. I'm now entering a contest. Anyone else has a better nickname for the Chuck, you let me know, and I'll be sure to recite it on the air. Plus, if anyone has a funnier joke, send it to me on a $100 bill, and I will read it on the air and give you credit for it. You don't even have to include your name. I'll recognize your handwriting. So it's now tracing the left side of the lens to know where to place the bevel. So in just a moment, the lens will drop down onto the cutting wheel, just like before. Nice shiny and bright lens, isn't it? Come on, drop down, drop down. There we go. So I'm going to come down here to the lensometer, spin the axis wheel back to 42. Come on, Where's 42? There we go. Just past 50 and almost at 40. We're going to put the, got to take the chuck off. Dry that off on my hand. Add to my sticker, look, it's getting good there. My sticker collection. I'm trying to thicken the base. It's starting to get top heavy, so I'm putting them at the base now instead of on top. So we'll come down here, put it in above that black dot, which is your optical center. It's going to sit directly in front of your pupil. And I'm reading the power, and I didn't have to move anything because I'm still stuck on 450, exactly halfway between 4 and 5. That's because the unit of measurement we use in the optical world is called a diopter, spelled D-I-O-P-T-E-R. It starts at 0, which we in the industry call Plano, which people in Texas call a city. And it goes up in quarter increments, 0.25, 0.50, 0.75, 1, and so on. You're on the 18th rung of a ladder. You need 18 steps of far-sighted correction. With your glasses off, you're very nearsighted. You can see great up close. You can see the hairs on an ant's leg, but you move it out here and now you can't see the ant anymore. So you need 18 steps of far-sighted correction to see far away. Now, once everything is the correct size, actually, when you look at something up close, you have super magnified vision. That's why there's a minus sign. Your lens is minified to make everything the correct size. Now, once it's the correct size, you only need 1 step of astigmatism correction. Now, there is a stigma over the word astigmatism. It just means shape. It's like saying someone has straight hair, someone else has curly hair. That is it. It is not a disease. It is not an affliction. Uncorrected astigmatism makes 6s and 8s look alike, or the letters P and F. And so, or E and F, or any of the others. So once is the correct size, think of astigmatism correction as the fine-tune knob to make everything nice and crisp. We turn that fine-tune knob to 42. So let's go ahead and check your astigmatism 1 step, and we're getting minus 475, 1 tick mark away from 5. Why is that? Remember high school algebra where you add 2 like signs together? Yeah, nobody does. So let's use today's terms. If someone had borrowed $4.50 from you and then they borrowed another quarter, they would owe you $4.75. That's where we're at, $4.75 in the red. Plus numbers are in the black, just like a roulette wheel. So your left eye, same amount of correction, 18 steps of far-sighted correction, but you need 4 steps of astigmatism correction, which will give us a final combined value of minus 550. And that fine-tune knob we turn to 13. So when I say fine-tune knob, you have 2 curves on your eye. Let's say for your left eye, you have a minus 450 spherical. For your You have another 4 steps, a whole diopter of astigmatism correction at 90 degrees apart from this one, and it's how you line up those 2 curves to make everything nice and crisp. And we're going to line up that curvature to the 13th meridian, which could be anywhere from 0 to 90 to 180, 270 for those of you keeping score at home. But the first 2 numbers are real values to be concerned with. This last number could be anywhere from 0 to 180, although I've had other opticians write in and tell me 0 and 180, 0, 180 are the same number because it's a straight line. So technically 1 to 180. So yeah, I'm listening. I'm reading the emails from the haters. Speaking of the haters, the hardest class in school was called theory. That's the mathematics behind optics. If you were to move when you get your eye exam, the vertex distance, which is the distance from your cornea to the back of the lens here, if you move that forward and back, that changes the prescription, just like with your contacts. Your contacts are generally weaker for myopes because they sit directly on the eye. Same for your earbuds on your phone. They're very tiny, but they go right inside your ear, where your home speaker has to be this large to replicate the same amount of sound. Same for your lenses. As you move them around and the different powers on the lens depending on the meridian. Like for instance, minus 450 minus 1, where 90 degrees away is the full power of the minus 1. 45 degrees away, you're only getting half that, minus 50. So you have to study all this math, which I was not good at. But when it came time to take the state board exam, I made a 96, which is the highest score on record. So for all you haters out there in school who picked on me, those straight A students, I made a 96 and they failed. It's what you do under pressure that defines you. And that's true for life and everything. We are not defined by what happens to us. We're defined by what we do. So I just wanted to clean that off a little bit. I always like to try and get the outer edges cleaned before I put it in the frame if possible, so I don't get any of the chemicals near the frame itself. So let's go ahead, we're going to take the left lens. Remember how thick that was when we started off? Now it's like that. Tuck it in the outside corner, push down, it snaps right in. There we go. Go ahead and take the block off, pull the sticker off, dry that off, put the block away. Let's go ahead and put that one on top. We're going to do it both ways. We're going to grow the base and the height. So that lens that was so thick, look at that, no edge thickness whatsoever. Look at that, look at that. Your prescription in this frame turned out great. That's why I use the thinner, lighter weight lenses. Polycarbonate, again, people want to hate on it. For the money, you just can't beat it, especially because it's free. I can do high index lenses, and even 174 should the job call for, but a lot of people would try and talk you into it. He told me that some people try to get him to buy the high index for this frame because 90% of people in my field are commission based. Yes, right, I'm gonna hate right back on the haters. And they try and talk you into something you really don't need. Look at that. For free, that's your edge thickness for free. That's what happens when you buy lenses from me. The curvature of the lens, look how flat that front curvature is. Aspheric lenses, you get that for free for buying the frame from me. So, there you go. Let's come down here. Let's turn the fine tune knob to 13. Put it in over that black dot. And when I read the power, I'm getting minus 450, exactly halfway between 4 and 5, 450. Now you have one full diopter of astigmatism correction, and we end up at minus 550, exactly halfway between 5 and 6. I couldn't have done a better job if I'd done this myself. Now your pupillary distance for your right eye, 34.5, for the left, 33.5, 33 and 34 is 67, so 68 total. Let me flip this around. Place the PD stick against my thumb on your right lens, and then when we hold it up to the left lens, we're getting 68 millimeters, so that is cut perfectly. Let me check the optical center height of 22. Let's do this. I don't need this card anymore. And you actually measure to the middle of the bottom of the frame, so there we go, 22 millimeters. 22 millimeters, that is cut perfectly. Now this is the portion in every video that, as I clean your lenses, and I mentioned that when you get these in the mail, and of course free shipping anywhere in the US, and Kansas City is still part of the US, so free shipping there. But when you get these in the mail, there's a small chance that this frame could be too loose or too tight. However, there's an 80% chance that one side is going to sit higher than the other. That is because 80% of people, oops, missed a spot. I missed a spot. See, I'm trying not to get it near the edge of the frame, even though this isn't going to affect your high quality frame. I still do my best not to get the chemicals near the frame. But as I was mentioning, 80% of people have one ear that's higher than the other. I'm no exception. I'm part of that 80%, and I'll show you in just a moment. But I'm going to get these in, and because of that statistic, 99% of all optical shops will do free adjustments if you ask them. But I'm going to get these in standard alignment first, also known as a 3-point stance. The 3 points are 1, 2, and the bottom of the frame being 3. I set them on the counter and press down. There is no wobble. When I say wobble, I'm part of that 80%. When I take mine off and press down, they wobble on the counter, but they sit level on me. For those of you keeping score at home, I'm wearing the Versace 3245, I believe it is. I can't see with my glasses off. I just got these. And the blue tortoise color. And of course with the shiny silver temples. I always thought this would make a nice pair of sunglasses with silver mirrored lenses. But I'm going to flip this over, press down. There is no wobble. Close each temple to make sure they overlap perfectly and that neither temple is askew like that. Of course, this would make a nice pair of sunglasses with gold mirrored lenses in there. They actually do make a version of this, so plant the seed. Now, I also send out a selfie request with every video, with every package, to have your picture on the website, but also include instructions, not only on how to care for your frame and your lenses so they will last you for years, but for your Versace cleaning cloth and the premium microfiber cleaning cloth that I provide. So these two will last for years, as well as your case with instructions on how to care and clean for your case. No other seller on the internet does that, I am told. By my fans, by my haters, I'm told something else. And actually, I'd like to respond to my haters now, which I've gotten some recently. From the bottom of my heart, I just wanted to say I apologize to no one. How's that? To nobody. I actually thank you, because you just make me stronger as a person and realize what I'm doing. You've got a weak business plan, and I'm exploiting that. I'm exposing how bad you are to this industry and how I can do a better job at it for cheaper. So that's that. If you like what you've seen and you want to hear more compliments and abuses, subscribe to my YouTube channel, or you can follow me on Facebook and Instagram as freeprescriptionlenses.com, or on Twitter as freerxlenses. If you have any questions, you can email me directly at freeprescriptionlenses@gmail.com, or simply click the contact me button on the website. Or better yet, I've started asking people to leave comments and questions down below. That way other people can read your question and comment and benefit from that. So, Kermit in Kansas City, I hope you enjoyed watching as I cut prescription anti-glare lenses for your Versace 3218 color GB1, which is the classic shiny black and gold, and the 53 eye size. I am See More Better, and now that's Mo Better. And hopefully everyone else has got the chance to see how I bring that love and feeling back to glasses. Thank you.